is frequently explained by a combination of psychological elements. Knowing these causes can help explain human behavior and the dynamics of attraction relationships. First, time spent apart makes memories more meaningful. Psychological impact. The psychological idea that romantic idealization underlies the proverb, "Absence makes the heart grow fonder," states that when two people spend time apart, their minds frequently fill in the blanks with pleasant memories and feelings that intensify their sense of longing and affection. This psychological effect can strengthen her emotional bond and attachment to you during the period of separation. How it functions: memory enhancement. As you're apart, she is likely to think back on the pleasant times and experiences you two had together. By selectively reinforcing these memories, she can strengthen her bond with you by mentally going over the highlights of your relationship. Emotional reflection. Absence offers a special opportunity for introspection. During this time, she may reflect on her feelings, desires, and the connection you share. If you had meaningful conversations or shared experiences that made her feel valued and understood, those memories may become more vivid and significant during the separation. The more she thinks about these moments, the more she might realize how much she values your presence in her life. She may come to more profound understandings of her attachment to you and her true desires from the relationship model during this time of emotional introspection. She may begin to wonder why she is missing you so much, or why specific memories of you are so vivid in her memory. This introspection can strengthen her bond with you as she becomes aware of the intensity of her emotions. Amplification of positive features while you're alone. The mind frequently accentuates your positive traits and downplays your bad experiences. This process of idealization may give her a more positive mental picture of you and increase her desire for your presence. When you're apart, your generosity and sense of humor may stick out in her memory more because of your absence, which can make them appear even more admirable and precious. Building anticipation. Her emotional response when you eventually reunite might be heightened by this expectation, making the reunion feel more significant and emotionally charged. For example, building anticipation absence produces a sense of desire and longing for the next connection. She may get more excited and anxious to see you again if she knows she will see you after a time apart. This anticipation may improve her entire experience with you and strengthen your emotional bond. Contrast in emotions. When she experiences life without you, she may be better able to appreciate the value of your presence in the relationship, whether it be through affection, support, or company. This can help her comprehend how important you are in her life. She may be more motivated to get back in touch with you if she notices that her life seems empty or less meaningful without you. The contrast between her emotional condition when you're around and when you're not can be a strong incentive for her to get back in touch and forge stronger emotional ties. The relationship's emotional resilience can be tested during this time apart. If she finds herself missing and thinking about you all the time, it's a sign that her emotional connection to you is solid and long-lasting. Distance can help her appreciate the qualities she might have taken for granted when you were always around. This enhanced appreciation can lead her to cherish the relationship more when you reconnect. For example, if she notices that even after a significant amount of time apart, her feelings for you haven't diminished but have grown stronger. This realization can solidify her commitment to the relationship. Maybe when she goes through life without your support, generosity, or sense of humor, she will understand how much she didn't appreciate them. This renewed appreciation may inspire her to get back in touch and cherish the bond even more. Secondly, the principle of scarcity, A compelling psychological theory known as the scarcity principle explains why, in the context of relationships, people value things more when they believe them to be scarce or limited. This idea has a big impact on how a woman acts and feels, especially after you've established some space. This is a thorough explanation of the scarcity principle's operation and the reasons it could persuade a lady to return after you've drawn away. The impact of the scarcity principle on attraction, elevated estimation of worth, psychological impact. The woman may begin to value your time, attention, and presence more when you put some distance between you, because they are no longer readily available. How it functions. She is forced to reconsider your value in her life as a result of your abrupt decrease in availability. She might start to see the advantages of being with you and realize how much she valued them when they were plentiful. This enhanced perception of value could lead to a desire to get back in touch. Establishing a feeling of urgency. Psychological impact. Scarcity often creates a sense of urgency because people fear missing out on important things in relationships. This fear can show up as a fear of losing you or the chance to be with you. For example, when you pull away, it can cause her to feel as though she needs to act quickly to avoid losing you to someone else or missing out on the potential of the relationship. This urgency can push her to try to reconnect with you and spark her curiosity, which has a psychological effect. Human curiosity is also influenced by the scarcity principle. When something gets less accessible, individuals tend to grow more curious about it, wanting to know how to get it and why it's so hard to come by. By establishing a separation. When you bring mystery into the relationship, she can begin to wonder what's going on and whether you still have feelings for her. This curiosity might push her to reach out in an attempt to clear the air and rekindle the relationship. Decreasing ambiguity, psychological impact. In partnerships, predictability can occasionally breed complacency, causing one partner to become overconfident and stop making an effort in the partnership. This pattern can be upset by scarcity by creating confusion about how it operates. When you break the pattern, you become less predictable. This uncertainty may cause her to reconsider her choices and emotions. She might start to understand that she can't take your presence for granted and become more motivated to get back in touch with you. Establishing a mental distance, psychological impact. The other person may feel the relationship's gap more keenly when you create emotional distance, which can be a type of scarcity when you remove previous emotional support or interaction. You draw attention to the emotional connection that is currently absent, which may help her recognize the emotional support. Scarcity can also trigger a competitive instinct, where the person feels the need to win back what they perceive as slipping away. How it works. When you create distance, she may perceive this as a challenge, comfort or affection she received from you, leading her to crave that connection again. Lack of emotional closeness can prompt her to reach out in an attempt to restore what was lost. She may become more driven to reconnect and reclaim her place in your life if she fears that you will leave her for someone else, or that your attention is now a finite resource. This competitive drive can have a psychologically beneficial effect on her. Scarcity frequently intensifies pleasant recollections and encounters. People tend to remember the good moments more vividly when something gets rare, which is how it works when you create distance. She might begin to focus more on the happy memories Her longing for those wonderful times due to your absence may cause her to become nostalgic, which may serve as a strong incentive for her to return in the hopes of reliving those wonderful memories. Number 3. The psychological impact of fear of loss. A relationship can be significantly impacted by the fear of loss, which is a powerful motivator in human behavior. When you create distance in a relationship, it might cause the other person to become nervous about the risk of losing you. This worry is a result of the relationship's perceived threat and lack of clarity, which can make it seem more urgent to get back to how things were. Women frequently reassess their relationships and their feelings for the people they care about when they fear losing them. This process can take many different forms. Awakening of feelings, reassessing one's emotions. The time apart allows her to think more deeply about the relationship and her feelings. She might begin to miss the emotional connection, the shared experiences, and the comfort that comes from being with you. This thought process can make her realize how attached she has become to you. This attachment isn't just about your physical presence. It's also about the companionship and affection she has grown accustomed to. When these things are suddenly gone, the void can be felt deeply, and she might reach out to try and fill it. Greater perceived worth in the relationship when there is distance. The scarcity of interaction can make her appreciate the moments spent together even more, and the fear of losing those moments altogether can make her realize how important the relationship is to her. She may feel compelled to act before it's too late, which may manifest as a strong desire to get back in touch, make her feelings clear, or address any underlying issues that may have led to the distance in the first place. Activating the attachment system. Theory based on attachment theory. When close relationships are threatened, people form attachment bonds with them and can experience severe emotional pain. When she perceives the distance as a threat to the attachment bond, her natural response may try to re-establish contact. The dread of losing someone significant might activate the attachment system, resulting in behaviors aimed at restoring closeness and security. She could communicate her feelings or ask to be reassured that the connection is still intact. Drive to address problems, approach to problem solving. Her thinking may change to address any problems that may have caused the distance, and she may become more prepared to make concessions as a result of her fear of losing something. Open communication and conflict resolution are key to preventing the partnership from possibly ending. Relationship prioritization. This fear may also cause her to put the relationship above other facets of her life. She may become more concerned with keeping the relationship going, recognizing its value, and resolving any issues that may be creating strain. Cognitive dissonance activation, unease regarding inconsistencies. In this case, the fear of losing you may cause cognitive dissonance if her actions, such as pulling away or not, clash with her beliefs, attitudes or behaviors. She values the relationship, yet her communication is at odds with her sentiments. To address this dissonance, she could reach out to you and reconcile her feelings. The discomfort resulting from cognitive dissonance can prompt her to make sense of her actions in relation to her feelings. This could entail owning up to her fear of losing you and making an effort to get back in touch. The fourth time for self-reflection is when distance creates a psychological effect that allows for introspection. This space enables both parties, but especially the woman in this situation, to take a step back and review the relationship from a more objective and emotionally neutral standpoint. Her time apart may result in profound introspection, which will help her reevaluate her feelings. The dynamics of the partnership as well as her personal requirements and wants, how it works. When you're together all the time, it's simple to get sucked into the routine of daily interactions, which can put you in an emotional autopilot mode where deeper problems or feelings may go unnoticed. However, when you give her space, it can cause a pause that can throw her out of her routine and encourage her to reflect more deeply on the relationship during this time of introspection. Numerous things could occur. Priorities are re-evaluated with space. If she discovers that the relationship is more important to her than she initially believed, This self-reflection can lead to a renewed commitment to the relationship awareness of emotional responses. She can also take the time to consider what really matters to her in a relationship. This might involve weighing the pros and cons of the relationship, considering how it aligns with her long-term goals, and evaluating whether her needs are being met. She may begin to notice a difference in her emotional state when you're not around, whether it's a sense of relief from loss or apathy. Distance can magnify emotions, making her more aware of her sentiments for you. She can better grasp the depth of her emotions with clarity if she experiences a significant emotional vacuum in your absence. She might decide to get back in the relationship after having gained a better knowledge of her feelings. Acknowledgement of one's own development, time away, enables her to consider her own personal development. She may wonder if the partnership is helping her advance or hindering her. This time frame may be essential for her to determine whether the connection enhances her life or whether changes are necessary. She might be inspired to return with a desire to work on these areas together if she sees room for improvement in their relationship. Reevaluating dynamics of relationships. When she has some alone time, she can evaluate the dynamics of the relationship, including how you communicate, handle disagreements, and show affection, and consider whether these dynamics are satisfying and healthy or if they need to be adjusted. Improvement. If she recognizes positive dynamics that she values, this realization may entice her to return. On the other hand, if she recognizes areas that want attention, she may return prepared to deal with these problems. Constructively, defining long-term goals. Self-reflection can also assist her in identifying her long-term goals, both personally and in a relationship. She can use this time to consider her true aspirations and whether the relationship is in line with them. She is more likely to return with a stronger feeling of commitment and clarity about the future, seeing the significance of the connection, if she comes to the conclusion that the relationship is essential to her long-term satisfaction and ambitions. Without the relationship's constant presence, distance enables her to assess its importance in her life and how much it affects her happiness on a daily basis, mental steadiness and general health. She might return with a fresh appreciation for the relationship and a desire to keep and grow it if she realizes how much it means to her. She might also realize that while being apart can emphasize dependency, it can also foster emotional independence through introspection. If she discovers that she values the relationship but also values her independence, she might return with a new strategy that balances both, resulting in a more mature and lasting connection. She might also realize that she has matured as a person and that the relationship can now be approached from a healthier, more independent standpoint. The fifth, rekindling attraction. Distance can have a significant effect on the emotional and psychological dynamics of a relationship between two people. The possibility of rekindling attraction is among the most fascinating consequences of this separation. A deeper examination of the how and why of something occurs. 1. The significance of ambiguity and mystery, psychological impact. When you establish distance, it adds an aspect of uncertainty and unpredictability to the connection. This unpredictability can pique her interest and spark inquiry, making you more fascinating in her eyes. Mystery is a key ingredient in attraction. Since humans are inherently curious organisms, things that are not instantly clear or understandable tend to draw attention by regressing and becoming less accessible. You set things up so she begins to question your feelings, ideas, and behavior. This inquisitiveness may cause her to consider you more frequently, which could rekindle her attraction. 2. The psychological impact of absence power. Because of the way relationships work, when you're always there, it's easy for her to take your presence for granted. However, when you create distance, she may start to miss the things she appreciated about you, like your kindness or the way you made her feel. Absence can cause someone to reflect on the positive aspects of a relationship and the traits they value in a partner. This time apart may increase her gratitude for you, which could result in reconnecting. 3. Triggering emotional contrast. Psychological effects results in a renewed sense of attraction. How it works. Emotions are often felt more intensely when there is a contrast. For example, feeling cold after being warm makes the cold feel more intense. Similarly, when she moves from the warmth of your constant presence to the coldness of your absence, it can heighten her emotional response. Distance can create a stark contrast in her emotional state, moving from comfort and security to uncertainty and longing. She may become more conscious of her feelings for you as a result of this elevated emotional state. Rekindling the fascination. 4. Generating a psychological effect of challenge. When you're not available, it can prompt a desire in her to close the distance between you. This sense of challenge can be thrilling and can make the process of reconnecting more rewarding for her. The effort she puts into re-establishing the connection can deepen her emotional investment in the relationship, increasing her attraction to you. 5. And rekindling the chase. Distance can introduce a sense of challenge in the relationship, making her feel like she needs to win you back. Dynamic impact on psychology. It's common knowledge that in the early phases of attraction, the chase dynamic can be rekindled by creating distance, which will let her feel the excitement of pursuing you once more. The excitement of the chase is typically what attracts people to you when you're always available. By stepping back and giving her space, you enable her to resume the pursuit, which can restore the excitement and anticipation that are frequently present in the early phases of attraction and make her more drawn to you. The chase dynamic can lessen as well as the thrill of the relationship. 6 ways to improve personal development. The psychological I-Cal impact distance allows both parties to focus on personal development. When she observes you thriving and developing on your own, it can heighten her attraction towards you. This is how it works. During the time you are apart, you may concentrate on bettering yourself, whether it be in your career, hobbies, or personal development. When she notices these changes, it can rekindle her interest and attraction because she will see you as someone who is constantly evolving and growing. 7. Amplifying positive memories. Psychological impact. Distance has the power to accentuate good memories and minimize bad ones. She may be more likely to rekindle her relationship with you when you're apart because of this selective recall. Her thoughts. Maybe go back on the enjoyable moments you had together, cherishing the connection and joy of laughter. The more she thinks back on these enjoyable times, the more she might be drawn to you. Nostalgia can generate a desire to relive those experiences, which would rekindle her interest in you. Number 6. Testing boundaries and independence. Understanding the psychological drive that occurs when a woman withdraws or needs space in a relationship, a deliberate or unconscious attempt to push limits and show her individuality. This need is a result of people's innate yearning for independence and self-determination in relationships. When a woman tests the boundaries in a relationship, it's not always a sign of discontent or lack of interest. Rather, it can be a way for her to make sure that the relationship allows her to maintain her individuality while still being connected to her partner. Testing boundaries also helps her understand how much space she has within the relationship to grow and develop as an individual. It's a way to see if the relationship can adapt to her changing needs and desires. This need for independence can manifest as a desire to temporarily step back and assess her own identity, independent of the influence of her partner. The significance of self-reliance. In a partnership, independence is essential to long-term contentment and happiness. In order to ensure that she doesn't lose herself in the relationship, a woman who seeks distance may be exploring her independence. This allows both partners to follow their hobbies, maintain their friendships, and continue growing as people. She can use this time apart to think about her goals in life, her beliefs, and what she really wants out of the relationship. By claiming her independence, she is determining whether the relationship encourages her autonomy or if it limits it. The reunion following the declaration of independence. When a woman leaves a relationship and then returns, it's usually because she has more insight into her emotions and the relationship itself. She may return with a deeper sense of who she is and a better grasp of what she needs from the relationship in order to feel content. The fact that she has chosen to return of her own free will, rather than out of duty or dependence, shows that she loves the relationship and believes it can coexist with her need for independence, which can be good news for the relationship. Giving her the freedom to test boundaries and explore her independence is a way to show that you respect her needs and are confident in the strength of the relationship. This can build a deeper level of trust and respect between both partners, leading to a more resilient and balanced relationship. The dynamic of independence in relationships doesn't mean that she doesn't care about you or the relationship. Rather, it's a way for her to maintain her sense of self. Healthy relationships are built on a balance of connection and independence, where both partners feel secure in their bond, but also free to be themselves. The benefits of pushing boundaries. When a woman successfully negotiates independence and testing boundaries in a relationship, the relationship can grow stronger because both partners have reaffirmed their commitment to one another while retaining their individuality. More trust might result in a deeper emotional connection when she perceives that you respect her need for privacy and independence. Improved exchange of ideas. She feels more comfortable expressing her needs and desires as a result of the process, which frequently results in improved communication. Personal development. Each partner has the chance to grow personally, which can improve their relationship and bring fresh angles, keeping the balance. A healthy relationship requires an understanding of and ability to navigate the balance between independence and closeness. If she returns after a period of distance, it could be because she has achieved this balance and is prepared to re-engage with a refreshed sense of self and a deeper appreciation for relationship number 7. Psychological impact of emotional reliance. When you distance yourself from a woman who has become emotionally dependent on you, she may find it difficult to handle the emotional void your absence creates, which may prompt her to return in an attempt to re-establish the emotional connection she needs for stability and comfort. Emotional dependency is a state in which a person depends on another person to fulfill their emotional needs, such as feeling loved, valued, or secure. How it functions. The importance of emotional support in relationships. People frequently offer emotional support to one another. This support can take many forms, from providing consolation at difficult times to giving a woman a sense of love and belonging. When a woman becomes emotionally dependent on you, your presence is essential to her emotional health. In the absence of this support, loneliness, anxiety, or even insecurity as she goes through these emotions, she might come to understand how much she needs your emotional support to feel secure and in control. She might also recognize her need for affirmation and assurance. The need for continuous validation and assurance from the person to whom they are attached can also be a sign of emotional dependency. This validation might take the shape of praise, declarations of love, or just being there to listen and understand her when you need to put some distance between you. Lack of this validation might cause emotions of uneasiness or self-doubt. She might begin to interrogate her worth or the security of the partnership, which may encourage her to return in order to feel the assurance you once gave her. Apprehension of emotional seclusion. When someone is emotionally dependent on you, their absence may cause you to fear emotional isolation. This fear arises from the thought of being left alone with your thoughts and feelings without your usual comforting presence. Realizing how uncomfortable emotional isolation can get can make her seek out reconnection with you. It also gives her a means of escaping the loneliness and regaining the emotional intimacy she needs. The solace of familiarity. Relationships provide comfort and familiarity, which can lead to emotional reliance when people grow used to depending on their spouse for emotional needs. Establishing a habit and sense of security. When this routine is disturbed by distance, it can lead to discomfort and unease. She may be deeply missing the familiarity of your connection, which is why she returned to create that reassuring emotional atmosphere. The influence of common experiences. People link through shared experiences, which leads to a deeper emotional connection. Whether they are happy or difficult, these experiences add to the emotional dependence one person may feel on the other. When distance is introduced, the lack of fresh experiences can leave a void, and she may come to realize that her most memorable or happy times are connected to you, making her want to see you again in order to relive that emotional connection. Realization of emotional needs. During this period of time apart, a person can ponder on what's really important to them emotionally and gain a unique perspective that may help them realize the depth of their emotional needs. This realization that her emotional needs are best satisfied by the connection you share and the clarity that comes from the self can be a strong incentive for her to return.